Unit 14. Residential Design and Construction. Learning Objectives. When you have completed this unit, you will be able to describe the types of regulations that help ensure safe housing. List the types of construction work that can be performed without a contractor's license. Describe the insurance protections for consumers created by the Homeowners Bill of Rights of 2004. Identify basic housing styles and building components, and explain some of the environmental hazards that are of concern to homeowners. 432. Key terms: anchor bolts, asbestos, backfill, bracing, brownfields, building permit, California Department of Insurance, California Department of Public Health, California Solar Initiative, CSI, Certificate of Occupancy, CO. Crawl space, Department of Housing and Community Development. Downspout, drywall, eave, energy efficiency ratio, fire stops, flashing, foundation, frame, girders, gutter, home energy rating program, Homeowners Bill of Rights of 2004, insulation, joists, lath and plaster, lead-based paint, manufactured home, masonry, minimum property requirements, MPRs, mold, orientation, PAC test, plasterboard, platform frame, post and beam frame, radon, rafters, ridge board, R-value, sheathing, siding, sill, soffit, solar heating, stucco, studs, uniform codes, urea formaldehyde, wallboard. 463. Summary. Residential construction makes use of designs and techniques that have been available for many years. New concepts for both site-built and manufactured housing have made home building more efficient, economical, and responsive to contemporary needs. Some innovations, such as smoke detectors, present low-cost ways to improve the safety of the home environment. Other innovations, such as solar heating systems, promote the goal of making the best possible use of our natural resources. Real estate is a dynamic industry, one that requires knowledge of where we are as well as where we are going. Technological advances and design trends both shape and mirror consumer desires. Federal, state, and local lawmaking bodies dictate requirements for acceptable housing. Awareness of how those desires and requirements are changing benefits consumers, as well as real estate brokers and salespeople, who in turn can do the best possible job for every client. Open for discussion. Manufactured housing generally is perceived by the public as less desirable than site-built housing. 1. What are some of the reasons for this perception? 2. What can be done to change it? California_E_principles_10E_book.inp 463 the 23rd of May 2017 2:33 and 54 seconds p.m. 464 California Real Estate Principles 10th edition review questions 1. In contracting for any work on someone else's property, a contractor's license is not needed. A. By an attorney. B. By a real estate broker. C. By a real estate salesperson. D. If the work costs less than $500. 2. A contractor's license can be suspended or revoked for A. Abandoning a project. B. Violating building laws. C. Breaching a construction contract. D. All of these. 3. A type of roof with two steeply pitched planes is called a gambrel roof. B. A flat roof. C. A gable roof. D. A saltbox roof. 4. A Dutch colonial house is distinguished by a hip roof. B. A shed roof. C. A gable roof. D. A gambrel roof. 5. Ornate exterior woodwork is usually found on a colonial American house. B. A Queen Anne Victorian house. C. A contemporary house. D. A California ranch house. 6. An architectural style in which homes share a common wall is called a colonial American house. B. A Queen Anne Victorian house. C. A Spanish house. D. A townhouse. 7. The location of a house on its site is called its a view. B. Architecture. C. Orientation. D. Floor plan. 8. The sun's arc in the sky is highest in a summer. B. Fall. C. Winter. D. Spring. 9. A good floor plan has a the kitchen near the garage. B. Bedrooms near living areas. C. 1 bathroom for every 3 bedrooms. D. No closets in the bedrooms, to conserve space. 10. Earthquake protection is provided by A. Anchor bolts. B. Cross bracing. C. Plywood sheathing. D. All of these. 11. A 2-story platform house is built A. With studs that extend from the first floor to the ceiling of the second story. B. 1 story at a time. C. With posts within the house that support beams. D. With no interior supporting walls. 12. The vertical supports in a wood frame house are called A. Studs. B. Plates. C. Joists. D. Beams. 13. A post and beam frame house is built A. With studs that extend from the first floor to the ceiling of the second story. B. 1 story at a time. C. With posts within the house that support beams. D. With interior supporting walls. 14. A brick or stone exterior finish is called A. Glazing. B. Paneling. C. Veneer. D. Tile. California_E_principles_10E_book.inp 464 the 23rd of May 2017 2:33 and 54 seconds p.m. Unit 14 Residential Design and Construction 465 15. The main roof supports are A. The soffits. B. The rafters. C. The gutters. D. The eaves. 16. A window that opens out is called A. Double-hung window. B. A horizontal sliding window. C. A casement window. D. A fixed window. 17. A relatively inexpensive and easy to install interior wall finishing is A. Plasterboard. B. Drywall. C. Wallboard. D. All of these. 18. Heat from sunlight reaching water-filled containers is used in A. Active solar heating systems only. B. Passive solar heating systems. C. Most homes. D. Air conditioning systems. 19. Every house sold in California must have at least A. 3 bedrooms. B. 2 bathrooms. C. 1 smoke detector. D. 1 garage. 20. All water heaters must be A. Cemented in place. B. Braced, anchored, or strapped. C. At least 80 gallons in capacity. D. Warranted by the state. Building construction standards. Federal, state, and local standards of design and construction help ensure safe dwellings and workplaces. This section describes the standards that apply to housing in California. The emphasis is on the wood frame structure, the most commonly used form of residential building. Federal regulations on the national level, federally insured, FHA, or guaranteed, VA, loans require inspection and compliance with minimum property requirements, MPRs. First established in 1934. Since 1986, FHA has permitted local building codes to set the standard for most property specifications. Property that fails to meet the minimum requirements may have to undergo corrective work. Approval of the property, and loan, will be withheld until satisfactory completion of all necessary repairs or additions. The term manufactured home is used by the federal government to describe a house constructed in a factory to comply with the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, building code. Manufactured homes must meet the National Manufactured Home Construction and Safety Standards. The standards for HUD code homes include design and construction, minimum room sizes, durability, fire resistance, insulation, weatherproofing, and energy efficiency. Buyers must be given a homeowner's manual that covers general maintenance, safety, and information on state agencies enforcing the federal standards. California_E_principles_10E_book.inp 432 the 23rd of May 2017 2:32 and 13 seconds p.m. Unit 14 Residential Design and Construction 433 State Regulations. The state of California regulates the building industry through building codes and by requiring building contractors to be licensed. State housing law. The housing law sets minimum construction and occupancy requirements for all dwellings, including apartment houses and hotels. It is under the administration of the Codes and Standards Division of the Department of Housing and Community Development. Compliance with construction standards is the responsibility of the local building official and inspectors. Occupancy and sanitation standards are enforced by local health officers. The Commission of Housing and Community Development is required by their legislature to adopt regulations that comply with the uniform codes that set construction standards for the industry. Local building codes must comply with state regulations. All three major code organizations in the United States, including the former International Conference of Building Officials, ICBO, in Whittier, California, merged in 2000 to create the International Code Council, ICC. The International Building Code and the International Residential Building Code were adopted by ICC, revised in 2003 and every 3 years thereafter. They are now the standards being adopted across the United States as well as by other countries. The former ICBO office in Whittier is now a branch office of ICC, found at www.icsafe.org. The California codes that are based on the ICC code but include property specifications unique to California can be ordered at the ICC website. Building codes are enforced by the appropriate municipal or county governing authority. A building permit must be obtained before construction is allowed to begin. Application for a permit is made to the local building official, who also is supplied with plot plan and building plans and specifications for the proposed structure. Problem areas are pointed out and can be revised. The permit is issued only when the application is finally approved. Periodic inspections during the construction process help ensure that code requirements are met. In addition, a completed building cannot be placed into service until the local building department issues a certificate of occupancy. A temporary CO may be issued to allow occupancy while minor features of the work are still underway. All construction must be successfully completed by the date stated in the temporary certificate. The California Department of Public Health, www.cdph.car.gov, acts through county and city health officers and may halt construction if contamination of the water supply, the drainage system, or proper sewage disposal is threatened. In addition, California's Mobile Home Accommodation Structures Law regulates buildings and other structures used with manufactured homes at grade level. The Mobile Home Parks Act regulates construction and operation of parks for manufactured homes as well as parks for recreational vehicles. Both laws are part of their Health and Safety Code. www.icsafe.org California_E_principles_10E_book.inp 433 the 23rd of May 2017 2:32 and 13 seconds p.m. 4:34 California Real Estate Principles 10th edition. Contractors License Law. Under the Contractors License Law, the Contractors State License Board licenses all building contractors working within their state. The current license status of all California contractors can be checked at www.cslb.car.gov. Criminal charges can be brought against any unlicensed individual who does the work of a contractor and is not exempt from the licensing law. No contractor's license is needed for the following: A. Work, including labor and materials, costing less than $500, but the worker must disclose the lack of a contractor's license to the customer. A. Owner performed work, unless the owner intends to offer the property for sale. A. Certain construction for agricultural purposes. A. Oil and gas operations. A. Work performed by public entities and public utilities. To be licensed, a contractor must meet both experience and knowledge qualifications. Various private schools throughout the state specialize in preparing students for the contractor's licensing exam. If the requirements are met, the applicant must post a bond or cash deposit with the state and must file with the board a certificate of workers' compensation insurance or a certificate of self-insurance. This fund is for the benefit of persons who might be damaged or defrauded by the contractor in the conduct of her business. A contractor's license can be suspended or revoked for A. Failing to follow plans and specifications, A. Abandoning a project, A. Diverting funds, A. Violating building laws or work safety regulations, or A. breaching the construction contract in a material respect. Department of Insurance. In Unit 10, we mentioned that a mortgage lender will require a homeowner to carry hazard insurance that will cover the repair or replacement cost of damage to the property. The California Department of Insurance regulates the provision of homeowners' insurance policies, including disclosure to the homeowner of the policy terms, as well as the insurance claim process. Following the major Southern California fires of 2003, the legislature added the Homeowners' Bill of Rights of 2004 to the Insurance Code, not to be confused with the Homeowner Bill of Rights regarding foreclosure practices that took effect in 2013. The fires that occurred in 2007 reinforced the rationale behind the new requirements. They include the following indicated provisions of the Insurance Code. An insurer cannot use the fact that the primary residence is damaged as a basis for canceling insurance. Section 675.1b www.cslb.car.gov California_E_principles_10E_book.inp 434 the 23rd of May 2017 2:32 and 13 seconds p.m. Unit 14 Residential Design and Construction 435 An insurer cannot cancel insurance for a primary residence when it is up for renewal and hasn't been rebuilt yet. Section 675.1a An insurer must renew an insurance policy at least once if a total loss to the primary residence was caused by a disaster and not by the homeowner's negligence. Section 675.1c When the policy covers the actual cash value, depreciated value rather than replacement cost, the following rules apply. The amount of recovery for fire insurance that requires payment of actual cash value for the loss is the expense to the homeowner of replacing what was lost as of the time the fire began. Section 2051AA For a total loss to a structure, the amount recovered by the insured is their policy limit or the fair market value of the structure, whichever is less. Section 2051B For a partial loss to a structure of loss to its contents, the amount required is what it costs to repair, rebuild, or replace the structure or contents minus a fair and reasonable deduction for depreciation, whichever is less. The depreciation only applies to the parts of the structure that are subject to repair and replacement during the useful life of the structure. Section 2051C When a policy covers the replacement cost of the insured property, the following are required by Section 2051.5 of the Insurance Code. A replacement cost for a fire loss must be based on what it would cost the homeowner to repair, rebuild, or replace the home without a deduction for physical depreciation. The homeowner has at least 12 months to rebuild and receive replacement costs, with the possibility of a 6-month extension. In a declared disaster, governor's state of emergency, the homeowner has at least 24 months in which to repair, rebuild, or replace the home. After a total loss, the homeowner can rebuild or replace the home at a location other than the original location of the total loss. The homeowner's mediation program provides that claims for residential property losses, other than from earthquakes, occurring after September 30, 2003, for which the governor has declared a state of emergency, may be referred by the Department of Insurance to its mediation program for discussion of possible payments over the policy limits. There are also other conditions on mediation. Section 10089.70b Other new rules include the following. If a state of emergency has been declared, coverage for additional living expenses will be for a period of 24 months and the homeowner must be provided with a list of items that are covered by the additional living expense part of the insurance policy. Section 2060 California_E_principles_10E_book.inp 435 the 23rd of May 2017 2:32 and 13 seconds p.m. 436 California Real Estate Principles 10th edition. The insurer must inform the insured in writing of any increase or decrease in the annual premium for residential property insurance compared to their previous year, including the reasons for the change, and telephone numbers and information regarding the consumer complaint process. Section 678 An insurer cannot cancel, fail to renew, or increase the premium amount based on the fact that the insured has asked questions about residential fire or property insurance policy limits, coverage, and so on. Section 791.12 A notice for cancellation of property insurance must be at least 20 days, except if cancellation is for non-payment of premiums, in which case it must be at least 10 days. Section 677.4 A public insurance adjuster must not solicit business from a homeowner until 7 days after a disaster, declared state of emergency or more than 25 dwellings are damaged or destroyed, unless the homeowner or the homeowner's representative contacts the adjuster directly. Section 15027.1 Finally, amendments were made to the California Residential Property Insurance Disclosure Form that must be sent to insured homeowners, and a new disclosure, known as the California Residential Property Insurance Bill of Rights, must be sent to the insured homeowner every other year. Sections 10,102, 10,103, and 10,103.5 Local regulations. Since 1970, local building codes have been required to follow the uniform codes adopted by the Commission of Housing and Community Development. Local variations necessitated by local conditions must be specifically approved. Local codes also may prohibit undesirable practices otherwise allowed by the uniform codes. An example is the piggybacking of copper wiring to a system with aluminum wiring. Local codes do not apply to the construction of HUD code, manufactured homes, but do apply to site improvements, such as grading, foundation work, and installation of utilities, as well as placement and anchoring of the home on the site. Local governments also initiate regulations regarding land use, fire safety, sanitation, density, building setbacks, and property line requirements. These are covered in Unit 15. Exercise 14.1 Broker Bob wants to sell the Gray House, one of his listings, but knows that it needs some foundation repair work. With the Gray's approval, and for a small fee, Bob hires a work crew that places new support jacks under the Gray House and rebuilds some of the foundation walls. Bob supervises the entire job. Do you see any problems with this arrangement? 437. Architecture. Present-day architects and builders may borrow parts of one or more of the classic designs. Design features are adapted, using modern materials and techniques, to make the resulting concept a workable one for current tastes and living patterns. Roof styles. The roof styles illustrated in Figure 14.1 are referred to in the descriptions of architectural styles that follow. The variations are based on the direction, degree of pitch, steepness, and number of roof planes. Architectural styles. The architectural styles described and illustrated below typically have most, if not all, of the features listed. Colonial American or Cape Cod. A wood siding with shutters. A 1 to 2 or more stories. A steep-pitched, wood shingled roof. A shed addition. A dormer windows. A multi-paned glass windows, usually placed symmetrically in relation to front door. California_E_principles_10E_book.INP 437. The 23rd of May 2017, 2:32 and 15 seconds p.m. 4:38. California Real Estate Principles 10th edition. Figure 14.1. Roof designs. Gable with dormers. Saltbox, flat, gambrel mansard hip, pyramid single dormer, shed dormer or dustpan. California_E_principles_10E_book.INP 438. The 23rd of May 2017, 2:32 and 18 seconds p.m. Unit 14 Residential Design and Construction 439. Dutch Colonial. A 1½ or 2½ stories. A distinctive gambrel roof. A dormers. Queen Anne Victorian. A wood, with elaborate decoration. A more than one story. A white, pastel, or deep colors typical of the era. A high-ceilinged rooms. A leaded and stained glass windows. A front porch, sometimes wrapping around side of house. California_E_principles_10E_book.inp 439 the 23rd of May 2017 2:32 and 21 seconds p.m. 4:40 California Real Estate Principles 10th edition. Townhouse or row house, A adjoins or shares a common, party, wall with neighboring house. A found in cities or as part of a suburban development. A exterior style variations possible, limited to front expanse and roof line. French provincial. A large, with white brick or brick and stucco exterior. A hip roof 8 2 stories, possibly with dormers. Spanish. A white or pastel stucco exterior. A 1-story, 2-story Santa Barbara or Monterey style. A brown or orange tile roof. A courtyard. A wrought iron trim and fencing. California_E_principles_10E_U14.in 440 the 24th of May 2017 10:47 and 6 seconds a.m. Unit 14 Residential Design and Construction 441 California Ranch. A 1-story. A wood or masonry exterior. A built on concrete slab or shallow crawl space. A attached garage on concrete slab. Contemporary. A 1 or more stories. A wood, stucco, or masonry exterior finish. A roof low pitched or flat. A minimal decoration. A open floor plan within the described range of styles. Differences in floor level can affect both design and layout. The split-level house, illustrated below, can be useful both in conserving expensive foundation costs and in taking advantage of a sloping lot. California_E_principles_10E_book.inp 441 the 23rd of May 2017 2:32 and 39 seconds p.m. 4:42 California Real Estate Principles 10th edition. An extreme slope, whether uphill or downhill from the building site, also calls for special consideration. For very steep sites, a contemporary design often is most attractive. The most common style of manufactured home is the ranch, as shown below. Some types of modular factory-built housing allow virtually unlimited design and size specifications and are indistinguishable from their site-built counterparts. Exercise 14 to describe the architectural style and features of the house pictured below. Design and function. The design of a home includes all of the elements of the floor plan, number of rooms, their size, and their relation to one another. Design is influenced by aesthetic and functional concerns as well as by external factors such as placement of a house on its site to allow maximum sunlight, view, or both. 443. Orientation on the site. The placement of a house on a site is called its orientation. Orientation is generally best when the greatest window expanse faces south, with a deep enough roof overhang. South-facing windows allow the winter sunlight in yet are shielded from the summer sun. This is particularly important in desert communities. Figure 14.2 shows this principle at work. During the winter months the sun's arc is much lower in the sky than it is in the summer months, allowing maximum use of the natural heating power of sunlight. In the summer, the sun's higher arc permits a roof overhang to block much or all of the sunlight from the interior of the structure. In a region that has relatively mild winters, a southern exposure to the rear of the house may be desirable. Such an orientation allows maximum use of outdoor facilities, such as a patio or swimming pool. Especially on a hillside lot, the view may be the primary consideration in orienting the house. Because contemporary designs do not require rigid placement of front entry and windows, those features can be placed to take maximum advantage of the site. Often a fence-enclosed outside patio can turn a part of the house with a poor view into an attractive oasis. Many subdivisions are designed to allow homes to take maximum advantage of a common area. The common area may include a park, walkway, golf course, swimming pool, or clubhouse. The benefit of being near or adjacent to a common area must be balanced against any resulting loss of privacy, increased noise, or actual danger. Errant golf balls can be more than just a nuisance, and there must be adequate fencing to safeguard small children from hazards such as ponds. Floor plan. The floor plan of a house should provide for both easy circulation and convenient access to living areas. The old railroad concept of all rooms in a line, with entry from one to the next, is highly undesirable. Each bedroom should have a separate entry, and the most luxurious plan gives each bedroom its own adjoining, en-suite, bathroom. As much as possible, bedrooms should be isolated from living areas. The great room combining kitchen and family, living areas has become more popular than separate kitchen and family room, visually expanding the floor area of both spaces. Telecommuting and home computer use have created demand for a separate office space, with a separate outside entrance, a useful feature. Traditional exterior styles often belie the open, high-ceilinged spaces within. Even there, one-story ranch-style houses built throughout California by the thousands after World War II have proven their versatility. They are still in demand as expandable starter homes, as well as homes that suit the needs of the growing number of seniors. Some, such as the distinctive homes built by Joseph Ichler, are valued even more highly today for their innovative use of glass and easy flow of indoor and outdoor spaces. California_principles_10e_book.in 443 the 23rd of May 2017 2:32 and 49 seconds p.m. 4:44 California Real Estate Principles 10th edition Figure 14.2. Solar angles and overhang. Overhang, summer sun, winter sun. Most California single-family dwellings do not have basements, that is, rooms that are partly or entirely below ground level. Houses in some city areas, such as San Francisco, have what are called basements, but these are ground-level garage and storage spaces. Such buildings typically have outside stairway access to the main entrance on the second level of the building. A house without a basement loses storage space but saves on the cost of the increased concrete needed for the deeper foundation walls and floor. Because there are few exceptionally cold areas in the state, the insulation value of a basement is not usually a factor. Hillside houses often make use of a lower level that is properly a basement but may have one or more walls above the surface of the slope. Such basement space may be counted in the home's living area, if typical of homes in the community. Square footage. The Board of Standards Review of the American National Standards Institute, ANSI, has adopted a voluntary national standard for measuring square footage in single-family detached and attached homes. A copy of the complete standard can be purchased at the website of the Research Center of the National Association of Home Builders, www.nabc.com. California_principles_10e_book.in 444 the 23rd of May 2017 2:32 and 51 seconds p.m. Unit 14 Residential Design and Construction 445 The standard specifies that the person taking the measurement do the following: A. Measure from the exterior face of outside walls. A. Measure to the nearest inch or tenth and report to the nearest whole square foot. A. Include only finished areas. A. Measure only space with a ceiling height of at least 7 feet except under stairs, beams, and sloping ceilings. A. Make a clear distinction between above-grade finished square footage and below-grade finished square footage and identify a level as below grade if any part of that level is below the grade line. A. Not include openings in floors in square footage but do include stair treads. A. Include accessory apartments and other finished areas not within the main house only if they are connected to the main house by finished hallways/stairways. A. Never consider a garage as finished space, although a garage can be calculated as unfinished square footage. Exercise 14.3 Label each space in the floor plan below according to its most likely best use. Construction stages. You should be familiar with the names of the various construction stages and components of a house, particularly if you are taking the real estate licensing examination. Refer to the diagrams as you read through this section. Site preparation. Preparing a parcel of land for building requires much more than simply leveling it with a bulldozer. Before a building permit will be issued, the contractor will California_e_principles_10e_book.in 445 the 23rd of May 2017 2:32 and 54 seconds p.m. 446 California Real Estate Principles 10th edition have to comply with all local, national, and federal requirements regarding site utilization. A soil engineer's report, back test of the ability of water to drain, percolate, through the soil, seismic analysis, environmental impact report, and other studies may be necessary. The previous use of the site might dictate removal and replacement of soil if hazardous materials were stored or present on the property in the past. Sites identified as brownfields by the Environmental Protection Agency require extensive remediation. Hillside locations, found throughout California, have their own unique requirements. Grading might require construction of retaining walls to prevent earth movement above or below the site. Seasonal water flow might necessitate extensive drainage systems and extraordinarily deep foundation supports. Often, the lack of vacant building sites results in the teardown phenomenon, in which an older home is purchased for the value of the underlying land, then torn down so that a new home can be built. The tendency to build huge new homes on such sites has not been well received in some communities, with the result that the approval process in such cases has become much more difficult. Foundation. The wood frame house typically rests on foundation walls of poured concrete. The site is excavated, the foundation walls are poured into wood forms, the wood forms are removed after the concrete has cured, and dirt, backfill, is moved back against the walls. The floor of the house also may be concrete, poured either at the same time as the foundation walls or after. More commonly used is the wood floor on concrete foundation walls, usually plywood panels over wood beams called girders and joists. This design leaves a crawl space beneath the home for ventilation and protection against termites. It is illustrated in Figure 14.3. Instead of continuous concrete foundation walls, some older homes have concrete or stone supports called footings. California_E_principles_10E_book.INP 446 the 23rd of May 2017 2:32 and 54 seconds p.m. Unit 14 Residential Design and Construction 447. Figure 14.3, Foundation. Sill plate joist subfloor. Sill sealer anchor bolt. 8-0C. Foundation wall. A. With sill plate. Insect infestation is possible wherever wood comes into contact with earth. Termites also can build their earth tunnels from the ground to the wood structure. Along cement foundation walls or supports, the foundation itself should be chemically treated to poison termites, and any wood that must be in even indirect contact with earth, such as a fence post or deck support, also should be chemically treated and inspected regularly. As a general rule, there should be no direct contact of wood with earth. The sill is the wood member that is placed directly on the foundation wall. Since 1931, California building codes have required the use of anchor bolts through the sill and into the foundation wall as an earthquake safety measure. Nevertheless, the California legislature has estimated that 1.2 million homes in the state have foundations that are not adequately secured. Government Code 8897. Radon is a gas that occurs naturally in all parts of the country as a result of their breakdown of uranium in the soil. It is harmless when it dissipates into the atmosphere, but in the enclosed environment of a crawl space or basement, radon can accumulate to high enough levels to increase the risk of lung cancer and other ailments for residents. The solution to a high level of radon is to add ventilation to the area of the building closest to ground level, such as the crawl space, to vent the gas and prevent it from accumulating to a dangerously high level. Information on radon and mitigation measures can be found at www.epa.gov. Framework. After the foundation has been prepared, the house frame is erected. The frame is the skeleton to which the exterior and interior walls are attached. The frame consists of vertical supports called studs, which local building codes require to be no more than 16 inches apart. Short, horizontal pieces of wood are placed between the studs at intervals to act as fire stops by blocking air drafts. In platform frame construction, the frame of a multi-story house is built one story at a time, with each story supporting the next. Figure 14.4 shows the components of a platform frame system. The post and beam frame, used less frequently than the platform frame, allows great design flexibility. Ceiling boards are supported on beams that rest on posts placed within the house. Because the wall frame studs do not have to bear the full weight of the ceiling and roof, they can be spaced farther apart, allowing for greater room area. As California earthquakes have demonstrated many times, ground movement can create tremendous forces that buildings withstand only if they are properly anchored and braced. Exterior walls insulating sheathing of plywood or drywall is applied to exterior walls, which are then ready for siding, whether wood, aluminum, brick, stone, or other material. Stucco, a type of plaster, requires wood furring strips to be nailed to the plywood, with metal lathing stretched over the wood strips as a base for the stucco. Plywood sheathing is an excellent way to provide the bracing needed to protect a building in an earthquake. A sheet of plywood securely fastened to wall studs serves the same purpose as an X-shaped wall bracing system. Plywood sheathing allows a building to move with the movement of the earth yet keeps the structure intact so that it returns to its original shape. Masonry, which refers to any use of brick or stone, is either solid or veneer. If veneer, it is a decorative finish and does not support the roof structure. The thick plywood sheathing provides bracing needed for a building to ride out an earthquake. California_E_principles_10E_book.INP 448 the 23rd of May 2017 2:33 and 9 seconds p.m. Unit 14 Residential Design and Construction 449ness of the walls is one way to tell whether masonry is veneer. With masonry veneer, the depth of the walls generally is 8 to 10 inches or less. Figure 14.4, Wall Framing with Platform Construction. Stud top plate. Corner bracing, use 1x4 let-in bracing, steel X-strapping, rigid steel braces, or structural sheathing such as plywood, flakeboard, or oriented strand board. Sole plate. Plywood subfloor stringer joist anchored sill plate. Foundation wall header joist window sill window header. Temporary brace. Unreinforced masonry is very susceptible to earthquake damage. The government code requires an owner who has actual or constructive knowledge that such a building is located in a seismic zone 4 to post a prescribed notice at the building's entrance. The notice is not required if the walls are non-load bearing and have steel or concrete frames. If the building's buyer receives the required notice and fails to bring the building into code compliance within 5 years, the buyer cannot receive any state earthquake repair payment until all other applicants have been paid. Government Code Section 8875.6 requires the transferor, or the transferor's agent, of any unreinforced masonry building with wood frame floors or roofs that was built before January 1, 1975, to deliver to the purchaser as soon as practicable before a sale, transfer, or exchange, a copy of the Commercial Property Owner's Guide to Earthquake Safety described in Section 10147 of the Code. The guide was updated in 2006 and is available on the Seismic Safety Commission website, www.seismic.car.gov/cog.html. This requirement does not apply to transfers between spouses or co-owners, from an estate or trust administrator, from mortgagor to mortgagee, or pursuant to a court order. www.seismic.car.gov/cog.html. California_E_principles_10E_book.INP 449 the 23rd of May 2017 2:33 and 13 seconds p.m. 450 California Real Estate Principles 10th edition. Insulation. In the days of relatively cheap oil and gas energy, insulation of walls and ceiling was of less importance than it is today. The effectiveness of any of the various kinds of insulation is expressed by its R value. When more than one layer of insulation is used, the R values of the individual layers are added to each other to find the total R value of all the layers. Thus, if insulation of R9 is placed over insulation of R11, the two layers provide a total insulation value of R20. An R1 value is equivalent to about 11.82 inches of insulation. Any hardware store customer has probably seen the bulky aluminum foil-clad rolls of fiberglass or rock wool insulation that are sized to fit between wall studs. Such products are easy to install in a home with an exposed ceiling frame accessible through an attic, unless walls are insulated before interior walls are finished. They require the services of a professional. Insulation can be blown into wall cavities, for instance, using the proper equipment. Protective clothing, including mask and gloves, is necessary during any handling of insulation materials. Other building components also can be insulated. A fiberglass blanket can be purchased for a water heater and installed by the homeowner. Water pipes can be wrapped to help prevent heat loss. Water pipes wrapped with insulation will be less likely to suffer from the effects of a sudden freeze, which could cause them to burst. The California State Energy Resources Conservation and Development Commission www.energy.ca.gov/commission/ has established a statewide home energy rating program, revised in December 2008. The residential dwelling seller, or agent, must provide a copy of an information booklet on the program to the buyer. Until the mid-1970s, asbestos was frequently used in walls and sprayed on ceilings and other building components. Asbestos fibers, released when the material is handled or as it deteriorates, now are believed to be a potential cause of cancer if inhaled. Use of urea formaldehyde is prohibited in most parts of the United States. Toxic fumes from this product may cause nausea and other adverse reactions. Urea formaldehyde frequently is found in older manufactured homes, where its effects may be amplified by poor ventilation. Any building suspected of having lead-based paint, asbestos, or urea formaldehyde in its construction should be inspected by a competent professional. Basic roof styles were illustrated in Figure 14.1. The roof structure is shown in Figure 14.5. Roofs are formed by rafters, sheathing, and a finishing material. The rafters meet at the ridge board, the highest point of construction of a frame building. Sheathing is usually plywood. Spaced sheathing of 1 inch by 4 inch boards is used for a wood shake or shingle roof to allow better air circulation. A heavy waterproof paper called building paper goes over the sheathing first. Putting an insulating blanket on a water heater can save energy and money. www.energy.ca.gov/commission/ California_E_principles_10E_book.in 450 the 23rd of May 2017 2:33 and 13 seconds p.m. Unit 14 Residential Design and Construction 451 Figure 14.5 Rafter framing, ridgeboard collar beam rafter, rafter block, notch or birdsmith, top plates, ceiling joist and stud. Roof finishes can range from wood shakes or shingles to mineral fiber shingles, tile, or slate. Sheet metal, called flashing, surrounds openings cut in the roof for chimneys and vents. A flat roof, the hardest to waterproof because it allows water and snow to collect, is covered with tar, which must be renewed periodically. Woodlook, mineral-based shingles and shakes are now being made to simulate the attractiveness of wood yet provide the protection of a long-wearing, fireproof material. Increasingly, the fire hazard posed by wood roof coverings has resulted in ordinances prohibiting their use either for new construction or to replace an existing roof. The roof eave is the part of a pitched roof that extends beyond the outer wall of the house. It may be enclosed by a soffit or left open. A better quality house has a gutter along the eave to direct drain runoff through a downspout. Windows. Windows are available in many styles and materials. Aluminum framing is a low-cost alternative to wood, but the more expensive wood windows are also popular, particularly in remodeling. Some of the common window styles are pictured in Figure 14.6. The fixed type does not open, and some windows have both fixed and opening sections. Casement windows are unusual in that they open outward. Wood roof coverings are prohibited in many parts of the state. California_E_principles_10E_book.in 451 the 23rd of May 2017 2:33 and 16 seconds p.m. 452 California Real Estate Principles 10th edition Figure 14.6 Types of windows. Casement, sliding center pivot, double or single hung, awning, hopper, fixed jalousie. Doors. There usually are 3 exterior doors to a house: the main entrance, the service door leading to garage or rear area, and the patio door leading to patio, deck, or garden. Although exterior doors usually area or should be made of solid wood, plywood, or wood filler. Interior doors are often hollow core. Patio doors are most often sliding glass doors, although multi-paned glass doors, called French doors, are popular. Interior walls can be finished with plasterboard, also referred to as drywall or wallboard. Plasterboard is a preformed layer of plaster sandwiched between layers of paper and cut into sheets that are typically 4 feet by 8 feet. Its weight makes plasterboard difficult to handle, but it can be cut, if necessary, to fit around door and window openings, and it covers large areas quickly. The seams between sections of plasterboard are covered with a special tape and a thin plaster referred to as mud. Most plaster finishes can be painted, and smooth finishes can be wallpapered. Plasterboard is a much cheaper alternative to the lath and plaster technique, in which wet plaster is applied to the wall against a backing of wood and wire. 453. Lead-based paint. The presence of lead in paint used in housing is a major health concern. Deteriorating paint releases lead. Renovations can release large amounts of lead into the home as well as the surrounding soil. The danger of lead exposure to adults includes high blood pressure, memory and concentration problems, and difficulty during pregnancy. The danger to children includes damage to the brain and nervous system, behavior and learning problems, slowed growth, and hearing loss. Encapsulation using special paints that prevent lead from leaching through to the surface may be the best preventative. Since 1978, the use of lead-based paint in housing has been prohibited by the federal government. It has been estimated that 83% of homes built before 1978, about 64 million homes, contain lead-based paint. The Residential Lead-Based Paint Hazard Reduction Act of 1992, a federal law, requires disclosure of the possible presence of lead-based paint in homes built before 1978. Sellers and landlords of rental units must also comply with the law. The enforcement body is the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA. Information on legal requirements is available from the National Lead Information Center, NLIC, 12026591192. As well as EPA branches and state health departments. The EPA has a website at www.epa.gov. NLIC can be found at www.epa.gov/leads/pubs/nlic.htm. The law does not require a seller or landlord to conduct any testing or hazard reduction. The seller or landlord must disclose any known presence of lead and provide copies of available lead hazard evaluations and reports. The prospective buyer or renter must receive an EPA disclosure pamphlet, or state-approved alternative, have 10 days in which to arrange a property inspection, and sign a lead warning statement and acknowledgement. Real estate agents must inform the seller or landlord of the requirements, make sure that the buyer or renter has received the necessary documentation, and retain the signed disclosure acknowledgement statement for 3 years. As of April 22, 2010, a renovator of housing built before 1978, other than the homeowner, must be trained and EPA certified to perform safe work practices to prevent lead contamination. The renovator also must deliver EPA's lead renovation pamphlet to an occupant within 60 days, if mailed, at least 7 days before a project begins, and obtain a signed acknowledgement of receipt from the occupant. A handbook summarizing the requirements can be found at the EPA website. Interior walls also can be paneled with wood, either in boards or in lightweight sheets of wood veneer plywood, usually 4 feet by 8 feet. There also are wood look and marble look panels. Floor plywood floor underlayment or subflooring can be finished with wood boards, tile, wood parquet, ceramic, vinyl, or asphalt, or carpeting. www.epa.gov www.epa.gov/leads/pubs/nlic.htm. California_E_principles_10E_book.inp 453 the 23rd of May 2017 2:33 and 19 seconds p.m. 454 California Real Estate Principles 10th edition. Wiring in new homes. telephone wiring that allows installation of two separate lines is becoming standard. Urban areas now offer the advantages of fiber optic cable connections to take maximum advantage of internet services. Although 110-volt electrical service was once the norm, the electrical system of a house built today should be wired for 240-volt service to allow use of the widest range of appliances. Wiring in the average house also should be able to carry at least 100 amps of electricity at the required voltage. Because of the steadily increasing number of household appliances, many contractors recommend a minimum of 150 amps. Heating and cooling. Both heating and air conditioning units are found in many homes in California. An air conditioning unit can be rated in terms of its energy consumption. The energy efficiency ratio, is found by dividing the unit's capacity measured in British thermal units, BTU, by the number of watts of electricity needed to run it. For example, a 36,000 BTU, 3-ton, air conditioner that needs 6,000 watts to run has an AIR of 6.0. A unit of the same capacity that needs 5,000 watts to run has an AIR of 7.2. A higher AIR means that less energy is consumed and the unit is more efficient. Solar heating of both room air and water supply is enjoying increasing popularity. The simplest form of solar heat is the sunlight coming through a window. If water-filled tanks are placed inside the house at a place where the sun can shine on them, they absorb the heat of the sunlight and will help warm the house at night. When that heat is dispersed to some degree, any heat-absorbing material, such as ceramic tile flooring, will produce the same effect. Such a solar heating system is called passive, because it has no mechanical parts. The Health and Safety Code provides that any city or county may permit windows required for light and ventilation of habitable rooms in dwellings to open into areas provided with natural light and ventilation that are designed and built to act as passive solar energy collectors. This provision allows the addition to a house of a greenhouse-style room with water-filled heat collectors, or a stone or tile floor serving the same purpose, designed to receive maximum sunlight during the day, to retain heat to be released into the interior of the house, through window openings, at night. There are also active solar heating systems. Typically, a water-filled panel, or collector, is placed on a surface facing the sun, usually the building roof. The water warmed by the sun flows to a storage tank in the house, and colder water is returned to the collector. A small pump operates the system. The warm water can be used directly, such as for bathing, and also warms the air as it passes through the pipes. A backup conventional heating system can be used on cloudy days. An active system also may be a cost-effective way to heat a swimming pool. California_E_principles_10E_book.inp 454 the 23rd of May 2017 2:33 and 19 seconds p.m. Unit 14 Residential Design and Construction 455 Tax incentives, including rebates of part of installation costs, have been used to encourage owners of homes as well as businesses to make use of solar heating systems. As mentioned in Unit 11, the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009, ARA, provides state and local governments with funds for energy efficiency and conservation grants for energy audits, retrofits, and financial incentives. Through 2010, homeowners could claim a 30% tax credit, increased from 10%, for purchases of new furnaces, windows, and insulation. The tax credit returned to 10% in 2011 for allowed improvements to an existing home that is the taxpayer's principal residence. The tax credit is 30% for allowed improvements to new and existing homes for geothermal heat pumps, small residential wind turbines, and solar energy systems, with no upper limit, and a $500 limit for qualified residential fuel cell and microturbine systems. Other funds are available for weatherization assistance for low-income households and for efficiency efforts for federally assisted housing. In addition, $5 billion was made available to modernize the nation's electricity grid and install smart meters on homes that help to save consumers money. Note: the tax basis of the home must be reduced by the amount of the tax credit taken. The California Solar Initiative, CSI, which took effect in January 2008, requires municipal utilities to offer a solar incentive program to customers, in effect paying them for the output of their solar systems. Information on CSI is available at www.gosolarcalifornia.car.gov/xis/index/php. Events for homeowners are posted at www.gosolarcalifornia.org. Local jurisdictions are also offering incentives for construction of solar systems. San Diego County charges no fees for the building permit and plan check of residential photovoltaic systems. Information on this and other green building incentives is available at www.ct.car.gov/blue/greenbuildings.html. As of July 1, 2008, San Francisco's solar incentive program, Go SolarSF, provides rebates for installation of solar systems. The program, described at www.sfwater.org/index.asps page equals 133, provides part of the cost of a photovoltaic system that produces at least 1 kilowatt of electricity. The local rebate, available to both residents and businesses, can be coupled with federal and state incentives. Fixtures: kitchen and bathroom. The kitchen requires special attention. Cabinets, usually of wood, can be custom made on site or prefabricated. Some appliances may be built in, including dishwasher, range top, wall oven, and trash compactor. There may be a separate counter island in the kitchen with chopping block, sink, and self-exhausting broiler, range top. Natural and manufactured granite, marble, and glass countertops and backsplashes have joined ceramic tile as desirable counter and wall finishes around fixtures in kitchen and bathroom. Plumbing fixtures: bathtubs, toilets, and sinks can range from standard grade cast iron or pressed steel coated with enamel to molded fiberglass. Many homeowners consider the stainless steel sink attractive, and it also is easier to maintain. www.gosolarcalifornia.car.gov/xis/index/php www.gosolarcalifornia.org www.ct.car.gov/blue/greenbuildings.html www.sfwater.org/index/asps page equals 133. California_E_principles_10E_book.inp 455 the 23rd of May 2017 2:33 and 19 seconds p.m. 456 California Real Estate Principles 10th edition. A double basin sink is desirable for the kitchen. The newest trend is the farmhouse sink, with a single deep, wide basin. Smoke detectors. California law requires that any single-family house, including factory-built houses, sold on or after January 1, 1986, have an operable smoke detector. A battery-operated unit is sufficient in most counties, but some, such as San Francisco, require a smoke detector to be wired to the home's electrical system to avoid the danger of an inoperable battery. The seller of the house is responsible for smoke detector installation and must give the buyer a written statement indicating compliance with the law. If the seller does not do so, the buyer cannot rescind the contract of sale, but the seller may be liable for damages of $100 plus attorney's fees and court costs. While not yet a state requirement, a carbon monoxide detector is an inexpensive way to warn a home's occupants of this odorless, colorless, potentially deadly byproduct of fuel burning. Carbon monoxide detectors. Existing single-family homes with fossil fuel burning appliances or heaters, an attached garage, or a fireplace were required to be equipped with carbon monoxide detectors by July 2011. Other dwellings, such as hotels, were given until 2013 to be equipped with carbon monoxide detectors. Water heater bracing. To help reduce earthquake-caused damage to dwellings, California law requires that all water heaters be braced, anchored, or strapped to resist falling or horizontal displacement. The seller of real property must certify to the buyer that the law has been complied with. Manufactured homes. Manufactured homes now account for 1/3 of all new single-family home purchases in the United States. For federal purposes, a manufactured home is one built off-site that meets HUD construction standards on or after June 15, 1976. Before that date, the term mobile home was used for any structure built off-site. California's Business and Professions Code defines what it still terms a mobile home as a structure transportable in one or more sections, designed and equipped to contain not more than 2 dwelling units to be used with or without a foundation system. The definition of a mobile home does not include recreational vehicles, commercial coaches, or modular housing. The code defines a mobile home park as any area or tract of land where 2 or more mobile home lots are rented or leased or held out for rent or lease. Advantages of manufactured homes. Mass production of building components and assembly in factories make it possible for builders to ignore inclement weather. This results in homes that are constructed without exposure to the elements, avoiding delays and dangerous working conditions. They are also significantly cheaper than houses constructed on site. The need to transport a manufactured home limits the maximum size of a California_E_principles_10E_book.INP 456 the 23rd of May 2017 2:33 and 19 seconds p.m. Unit 14 Residential Design and Construction 457 Single construction unit, but 2 or more units can be combined on site, allowing a degree of flexibility in design. California's mobile home parks are often tailored to specific recreational or residential lifestyles, such as those of senior citizens. A well-planned mobile home park with adequate space between units, limited access, and reduced speed limits contributes to the value of its homes. Property condition disclosures. The Easton case and subsequent legislation mentioned in Unit 6 require a real estate broker or salesperson to conduct a reasonably competent and diligent visual inspection of residential property and disclose to prospective purchasers all facts revealed by the investigation that materially affect the value or desirability of the property. The real estate agent is not expected to replace the role of a professional home inspector, however, and both seller and buyer should be made aware of that fact. It is thus in a real estate agent's best interests to not only make the appropriate property inspection and disclosure but also to be specific about what is not included in that inspection. Figure 14.7 is the agent visual inspection disclosure form prepared by the California Association of Realtors registered. This form, or one similar to it prepared by the real estate brokerage, helps to make the parties to the transaction aware that, although the agent's inspection may reveal a fact that should be made known to the prospective buyer, the agent's inspection does not replace the type of inspections that should be performed by competent specialists. The type of inspection necessary will depend on the type of property. Every property should have an inspection. That includes the structure and mechanical systems. Some properties, such as those located on a hillside, may require an inspection and appropriate testing by a structural and/or soils engineer, the kind of inspections that should have been performed in the Easton case. Typically, the home inspector's report will reveal any areas requiring further investigation. Certain inspections are necessitated by both seen and unseen hazards. Roofing problems or plumbing that has not been properly installed or maintained can be a source of leaks that can weaken ceilings or walls and also help create conditions in which mold can grow. The increased awareness of the respiratory distress that can be caused by high mold levels and the even more severe physical symptoms caused by certain toxic molds has created concern for property owners. As mentioned earlier in this unit, the presence of radon gas can create the need for a special ventilation system. In response to both of these potential problems, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, now requires notice to property buyers of the potential hazards of radon and mold when HUD-owned property is sold. Figure 14.8 is the car form that meets the HUD requirements. Note, this form can only be used when, in fact, there is no evidence of mold or radon on the property. Figure 14.7, Agent Visual Inspection Disclosure. 461. Exercise 14.4. Using the diagrams and definitions in this unit, label the indicated parts of the house shown below. 462. Figure 14.8. Radon gas and mold notice and release agreement. 463. Summary. Residential construction makes use of designs and techniques that have been available for many years. New concepts for both site-built and manufactured housing have made home building more efficient, economical, and responsive to contemporary needs. Some innovations, such as smoke detectors, present low-cost ways to improve the safety of the home environment. Other innovations, such as solar heating systems, promote the goal of making the best possible use of our natural resources. Real estate is a dynamic industry, one that requires knowledge of where we are as well as where we are going. Technological advances and design trends both shape and mirror consumer desires. Federal, state, and local lawmaking bodies dictate requirements for acceptable housing. Awareness of how those desires and requirements are changing benefits consumers, as well as real estate brokers and salespeople, who in turn can do the best possible job for every client.
Perfect.